Hey everybody! This is the optional video for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. This is the optional video for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Today, we're going to begin tackling Imagineering-in-a-Box. So Imagineering-in-a-Box was shared on a Facebook page and I checked it out, and it's a free program that's being provided through Khan Academy. Now, if you haven't used Khan Academy before, it's a program that has educational activities and lessons, and it's a great resource. So we're going to go ahead and use that and have some fun with it too, because I thought, man, we're all stuck in our houses. I love Disney. We're gonna do it. Now I can already feel the judgment through the internet from some of you guys, but it's okay. I'm okay with my enthusiasm level. You just gotta get there too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share the link down below and right in the description right there. And you guys are gonna go visit it and watch the first 2 videos. Okay, so right now, go. Pause this one, go to that one, let's go. Okay, so you went into the thing. You should have watched the first 2 videos. So the first one, just kind of introduction to the whole thing, pretty cool, right? The second one kind of gave us more of a what we're gonna be doing. So it led in with this whole, these parks, these lands are telling a story, and how cool is that? First of all, how cool is the whole thing? We saw some pretty cool things. I hope to get to go to some of these things someday. That would be awesome. But they really told us that they're using these parks to tell a story. And then they highlighted the differences between telling a story through a park and then just telling a story through a book or a movie. The biggest difference, the first difference they listed, was that when you're telling a story through a park, you're using all the senses to tell a story. It's not just our hearing, where we hear the story being read aloud, or it's not just our eyes where we're watching something on the TV. We are touching and smelling and tasting things around us. Okay, so all the food, all the textures, all the sights, all the sounds, they're all enveloping us in this story. And that is so cool and so complicated. Think about all the things that have to go into that for somebody to really convince you that you're in a different place. The next difference was that it's non-linear, which basically means normally our stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. We've been taught that all throughout elementary school. Beginning, middle, end. Not in a park. In a park, you could walk in from different directions. You could jump straight to your favorite ride. You could be starving and run to the closest food stand. Their story has to be able to be told without having a beginning, middle, and an end. So it's like you already know what's going on, but nobody really told you what's going on. They have to use the elements around them to give that information to you. The last thing that they really highlighted as a difference was the guests have a role in the story. You have a role in the story when you're in a park. You're involved. You interact with the characters. You interact with the senses around you. There are some things that if you walk towards, they respond to you. The next thing we see is that it's asking us questions about what our land would look like. We've been asked to design and build a land of our own. The first question was, what kind of land would you create? You can come up with many ideas and pick your favorite later. What would the name of the land be? The next question they asked was, what story takes place in this world? What do you imagine is happening in this world? And how would you want this world to make other people feel? So at first I read these questions and I was like, man, there's so many options. How can I just single it down to one land? And then last night I watched Lady and the Tramp and I thought, oh, how cool would a Lady and the Tramp land be? There'd be like puppies everywhere and you just cuddle with them and everybody be dressed all pretty. And then I was like, you know, I don't know how many people would actually enjoy that besides me. And then it hit me. It's staring me in the face. We need an upland. That's the whole theme of this classroom. So I am making an upland. I don't really know how it's going to work out yet. Thankfully, I've got a ton more lessons to learn and exercises to do, and it's going to help me figure it out. So what's your land going to be? Let's move on to theme. I love that in the video, they explain the differences between an amusement park and a theme park. About 5 years ago, I got to go to Walt Disney World for the first time, and before then, I'd never been to a theme park. I'd only ever been to an amusement park. So when we got into the park, for just a split second, I was a little confused and almost disappointed that there weren't any of those super exciting rides or crazy adventures to go on. But then I looked around and realized that I was immersed in some of my favorite stories. So even though the rides weren't the most adventurous thing I'd ever done, I was having so much fun living out some character lives and interacting with the things around me that I actually had more fun at a theme park than I did at an amusement park. So the fact that they highlighted the differences between those two really helps us to understand exactly what we're looking for in our land. So in our theme, we need to make sure that we're discussing what the story's really about. The questions that they've given us are, think about your favorite stories. It could be from a book, a movie, play, anything where a story is told to you. I want to remind you guys, video games tell you a story. So if you have a story from a video game, that's awesome too. Now in just a few words, you need to kind of collect, maybe write down in a notebook, what's that story really about? What's the meaning behind it? What's that main lesson or the big takeaway? What are you supposed to learn from that story? What emotions or feelings did it create in you? How did that story, how did that interaction with that video game or with that book or with that movie, how did that make you feel when it was done? So if I stick to my land, where I've decided I want to make an upland as our example, I would need to go back to the movie and to the first time I watched the movie and how it made me feel. So at the beginning of the movie, we're introduced to two kids who bond over their sense of adventure. They grow up, fall in love, and get married. Eventually, the wife dies and the husband is left behind, feeling as if he didn't complete his adventure with his wife. Then through a crazy series of events, he ends up having a whole new adventure with a kid from his neighborhood. Then, as they complete their adventure, the old man looks back at his life and realizes that every day he had a different kind of adventure with his wife. It just wasn't the one he thought he wanted the most. He had a fantastic life and every day was something new. He just didn't stop to see it all the time. So I really want to take that story and show that through my land. The story I'm wanting to tell is that everything around us can be an adventure. Every day, every activity we do, and every interaction with our family and our friends can be their own little adventures. But I want to show that in a big adventure too. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and stop there for this week. If you're enjoying this and you want to keep going, let me know by liking the video. And then next week I'll put out some more and we'll tackle some more topics and hopefully get to where we're actually creating our land instead of just thinking about it and getting an idea going.